Okay, well, let's get started with Maxi Bourse. I'm using the colors here to represent the different colors of the pawns in the game. I don't have an orange die that's 10-sided, so I'm using a yellow one. At least I don't think I do. And I'm not a big fan of orange. I'm not sure how much I can actually go into the mechanics while I'm playing, but let's just give it a start. Let blue go first. One thing you'll notice, along with all my games, I go kind of counterclockwise instead of clockwise. This should be special. Okay, we get a big 11. There's a rule I didn't mention, which is doubles. Rolling a double allows you to buy stock from any company in the game as if you landed on its space, regardless of which company is named in the space, and it's fixed price. Everyone else is at market, but you ignore it if you land on a gray space. Just one of those little weird things. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, I got nothing better to do. I might as well buy this, right? Mitsubishi. It's at 200 a pop. I'll put these out here for now. I can always slide them back in. So I get to buy 3 of these for 600 bucks. And I'll just put them here. And there's 5. This play money is really awful. If you can stand not using the money in the game, something else would work well. Okay, so I just bought. That means everybody else has an option to buy. Now, nobody particularly wants this. So should they drive the price up? That's the question I've got. Of course, let's see where 7 lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7's blue as well, which immediately starts making, the whole block of blues is up here. It makes it a little bit more attractive. So I'm going to kind of randomize who wants to buy and who doesn't by rolling some dice. And I hate doing this. Okay, black and red are passing out. Put the rest. Yellow's interested. They only want 1 share. And this is exactly how it would go. People would do their bidding around. Green is interested. They want 3. Right? I mean, they see, wow, I can probably get as much as blue has. And finally, white is going to pass out as well. So what does this mean? Well, it means the price just went up because there are 4 bids by 40 bucks. So over here on Mitsubishi, it's now at 240. And that's what they have to pay for this. 240 a share. Well, this guy just pays 240. He'll get his certificate. Yeah, that's my intro winding up there. Whereas this guy has to pay, what, $720 to get 3 shares. Five, 6, 7, 10, 20. And any money in this is very likely to be spit upon because these bills are almost impossible to manage. Unless people wear little finger cots. Okay. So there's his Mitsubishi shares. Now, there's some player aids that I'm not using because I don't want to do a lot of writing. But essentially you can keep track of what you own on here instead of cluttering up the board so much. You'd still get your certificates, but for calculation it might be easier and for seeing what your situation is. Well, now we're in a situation Price is up to 240 already. There's 3 certificates left and 2 people who are interested in them. Well, there's no question that both blue and green want the other 3 certificates, and they're going to go into a claim for that. Well, blue is. The question here is, does anyone else want to get involved? Because if they do, they're going to drive the price up. But they may prevent someone from getting control by bidding up those shares. It's a hard call. At this point, I say I'm going to let one of the 2 people who bid it up go ahead for it. Now, there's no question in my mind that this guy does not want to bid those shares. But green certainly does. Now, here's where it goes ugly. 6 more shares have been bid. It's now at 300. I won't erase that. How much are they willing to go to buy these? Seriously, that's what it comes to. Other computer shares are all less. However, getting control of a company is huge. How huge? Well, at the very least, they're going to get the director's share. They get a quantity equal to the share value. So their per share value, if they can drive that up, brings this way up. I'm left dumbfounded as to what to bid. You know, what level do you stop? Because it's going to start counting 250, 260. Do you want to drop out? At what point is it not worth it? Because you're making all your shares valuable. But on the other hand, and this could go up infinitely until however much cash you have. But that's the limit. You have a limited amount of cash. So it can't go up to infinite. It can go up to 1/3 of what you're holding in your hand at this point. Is it worth going up that high? Well, probably not, because you're buying 3 shares. If you were only buying 1, you might not ever want to back down, because that would shoot your other shares' value so far up that it can't go down enough through the couple rounds of sell-off. But in this case, it's looking for control. So I'm going to do this with a die roll. First check is going to be at 260. And blue is passing out at 260. And yellow is going to get this for 260. That's where the price winds up. And they get control at that price and have to pay 3 times 260 is 600, 780 for those additional shares. And I'll do that offline so you don't have to watch. But they now have control of the company. And that's, you know, I think they got away cheap. But blue is uncertain how much they're willing to pay. There's a lot of certificates, a lot of companies out there. Okay, so what did we go to? 780 to go. All right. Okay, well, black's the next player. I'll take a roll for them. I'm obviously not going to roll I'm not going to come back on every turn and show you what's going on. But they get a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is Apple Computer. Well, damn, you certainly want it, you know. I mean, you can buy it at market value. Other people have computers. They're going to probably be fighting over it. So he's going to buy his 3 apples at 200 each. I'll come back after the bidding. Well, now, after the first round of bidding, everybody bought 1 share of Apple. That puts it in an interesting position. Even the guy who just started it can't buy control. This becomes a lot more questionable. Is it worth owning? Do I really want it? Now, I think somebody else probably should have bought the 3 shares But what if they had? Then everything would be sold out and they wouldn't have control. I think it's very unlikely that anybody wants another 2 shares of Apple, except as a potential for trade. And that's what I have to consider. Do you want to pay, it's going to be, what, $270 a share for the ability to trade with this guy? Well, Blue says they do, and they're clearly the only reason to bid this is to go for 2. Black is also interested. They're going to shoot the value up, among other things, and they're going to 2. Other people are growing. Actually, Blue should not have had the first option there. Okay, let's see. Let's start this over again. Red made the choice on the 2. Let's go to yellow. Do they want to be the second guy driving the price up now? However, I liked Black's option that they would bid on it, so they're also going to 2. So now it's up to $270. Now, Black is looking at, I can trade with any player if I get these 2. Whereas Red is looking at, I can make a trade with Black if I get them. So right now we're at 270. It goes to 280. I would say Red's probably going to drop at this point. No, they're going to stay in, and I think Black definitely stays in. So it goes to 290, and Red stays in. It goes to 300. Red's dropping. They're going to force Black to pay $300 a share, and that's now the price for Apple Computer. And I'll mark that down on the board. So Red landed on a rumors card, which is kind of a bone. They get this card. It might be useful to them to affect some prices that they're interested in. But compared to being able to grab stock at this point in the game when you have a lot of money, seems like a bone. Orange landed on Hewlett-Packard and immediately bought 3 shares. First round bidding, nobody else wanted it except this guy who grabbed 1. I think it's, well, maybe not. This guy who grabbed 1 share, and he's finished his collection. That means when he goes around, he gets the specialization bonus of $300 for passing go. So that's kind of cool for him. And then this guy also wanted he grabbed 3 shares, thinking that maybe he can get a controlling interest in it. Now, what's interesting is nobody else bought any, so there are 3 shares left. The price is up to $240 now, and we've got a couple of people who are very, very interested in Hewlett-Packard. We've got the orange player, who of course is interested, but also the white player, who now could get a control. If orange got control, he'd be in the same position green's in terms of having a full specialization. So it may be worth a little more to him. I think clearly they're both going to bid 3. I don't think anybody's going to dive on this and try to prevent them from getting it. So let's see how high they're willing to go. Right now it's at 240 with plus 6 shares up for sale. Did I get Mitsubishi right? I may have screwed up my prices on Mitsubishi. I'll leave that alone for now. But at plus 6 shares, it's just gone up to 300. I think I screwed up with Mitsubishi. Oh well. It's just gone up to 300, and now it starts going up from there. Let's see who breaks. It's just not worth as much to him. So I think he has a chance of breaking even at 310, 320. He's going to let it go at 320. So he gets 3 shares for a total of $960. In a similar circumstance to what happened with Apple, Green landed on Unilever, bought their initial 3, everybody bought 1, and then they managed to get 2. One person stayed in briefly, but it goes up. It went for 300 as well. There's a question whether or not you should bid earlier to grab that bonus position where you're the only person they can trade with, and everybody's kind of contemplating that now. Again, you know, I'm learning the nuances in this just as much as anyone. And then white gets a 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, opening up IBM, which is sure to be interesting. Alright, I'll come back after that. Well, of course, the player landing white bought his 3 shares of IBM, but what happened after that? 1 share went to blue, black bid on 3, yellow bid 1. Those went, there's 2 left. Question was, what do you want with them? For him, it makes him able to deal with anybody who owns IBM. But it could have been the same position for him, but he backed down. And for him, he could make himself the one person, or the one person who could deal with one of the current leaders in IBM and would have a perhaps shared linkage with them. Looking at the stocks that were held by him, though, there was nothing terribly interesting. The only interest really was the share of Apple. He could go up to 6. But they can still work something out where a share of IBM is worth a share of Apple or whatever. In fact, they might make that trade at the beginning of one of their terms. So IBM ended up closing at 370. It was a good price. I mean, it made a significant growth, but not tremendous, because not a lot of people were all that interested. And that's the first round of this. I'm going to load it up. I'll come back less interested in the details of the bidding and more over the general gestalt of how the game flows.